Years ago, someone I led looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "Stephen, what are you doing differently? Because I can feel that you actually care about me." I hadn't changed a single tactic. I'd changed something inside of me first. That's what today is all about.
Welcome to the Beyond Just Leadership podcast, where it starts from within, and you learn to lead deeper, lead people, and lead well. Here's your host, Stephen Alfin.
You know, what a monumentous feeling this is. What a journey that it's been. This is absolutely incredible. I am glad you're actually here with me, and I'm back. New season, new me. My why has gotten so much clearer and so much has transpired since I started this back last year. This podcast is I think something that I know inside of me that's been wanting to come out, which is why I started last year with just 3 episodes. But, you know, this show has one job, and it's to help you lead the people in front of you a little bit better. That's the big thing, and I'm so excited that we can have this. And so I think where we're going to start is, you know, you can learn every framework in the world and still be a manager nobody wants to work for. Like, you can take training after training after training, but guess what? It doesn't start out there. It starts from within. You know, there's one thing I want to share that I don't think I shared in any of the previous first season, and I think this is why my why has really gotten better. So back when I was a kid in Missouri, I was the middle child. I had an older sister, older brother, 2 younger brothers, and our home was full of chaos and fun. My dad taught us hard work. We grew up on, I will call it a small farm. We had a big garden. We had an orchard. We had a dog, no real other animals other than that, but we grew up on 13 acres, and so there's a lot of work that we had to do. But while being in Missouri, one thing was that my dad taught us was, in anything you do, you're never going to quit. You're always going to give it your best. So when I was in junior high, I loved basketball. Even younger than that, I grew up, that's what I did. And so as I got older, in junior high, it reached a point where I was at the free throw line and I was shooting brick after brick. I was shooting about 50%. It wasn't great. It even got to the point where I think I missed 8 straight free throws, and it was, I don't know, I went to my dad and I was like, what can I do differently? I'm practicing, I'm shooting all the time. What can I do? So he came to me and said, son, practice is a big thing, but it's also a mental game. And it really starts from within first. And so he taught me this phrase. It actually grew over time, but it started at PAC, positive attitude and confidence, to something further as he continued to teach us, because, he thought, thoughts are actually more important. So it grew to be PATC. So everywhere we went, anything we did, so at a game, at the free throw line, he taught me, just say PATC and remember why. So positive attitude in your thoughts and have confidence. So doing that, it was crazy because when I got into high school, my percentage continued to climb each and every year, not just because of practice, because of my mental attitude going into it. So it was one of the things that I sat there and I said, PATC, underneath my breath. And then it grew to everything. So like in class at high school, I would say the same thing. Shortly after high school, I actually went and lived 2 years in Chile doing a church service mission where I would teach people, and I'd actually teach about God, but I would also teach about the English language and things like that. And so anytime I was in front of people or did anything, PATC was what I said to myself. So then my career started, or actually right after Chile, I went to college. And at college, same thing. Before every test, PATC. If I wanted to go try to talk to a girl that I liked, PATC. It was just a constant thing ingrained in my mind. And so I thought he was talking about basketball, but he wasn't. The game was won or lost before the ball ever left my hands. And it always started from within. That's what he was teaching me time and time again. So kind of walking through PATC a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I can go in depth later. But like each and every word means something. So like positive is a decision, not a feeling. Your attitude becomes your team's atmosphere. Whatever you carry in, you breathe in. So it's like that positive mindset is one of those things that just is ingrained. I always think of the movie Remember the Titans, where it's the scene when after they'd been through a lot of things, the two main characters are kind of battling against each other. And he said something like, "That's the worst attitude I've ever heard." And the response back was that attitude reflects leadership. And so it's the same mindset. It's like positive attitudes, that positive mentality that you always have to live with, that your whole team carries, the atmosphere carries. So if you're always negative, your whole team's going to be negative. If you're always positive, your team will be positive. And so it's one of those things. It's like same thing. I'm going to make this shot. I'm going to hit this. It's like that positive mindset is so valuable, and the attitude, and then your thoughts, like thinking it. Like you got to think it. You can't just not. It's if you just quickly breeze through it. And so it's super valuable. And then confidence. I mean, one of the biggest things in life, like is being confident in what you do, no matter what it is. And so walking into difficult conversations, walking into leading your team in something, or having a difficult conversation around change management, whatever it may be confident in who you are. And that's where it starts from within. If you're not confident in who you are, you're going to struggle, and you're not going to know what to say and things like that. So one of the things is nobody has ever cared about me like you do. I'm kind of going back to that phrase at the very beginning. And I hadn't done anything really clever. I had just decided from inside that she mattered, and she felt it. After that experience, it was crazy. I actually had an exit interview because I was getting recruited by another company. And HR came to me and sat me down and said, "Steven, your team's different. Like, they look at you different." And it was one of those times, and they asked me, "Well, what do you do?" And I kind of smiled back and I said, "I'm just myself." And that's the biggest thing, is like, you do have to be yourself. You can't be somebody you're not. And so a lot of the talents, a lot of the things that you embody, it's one of those things where that's got to come out the quickest, because you're going to connect with these people different. But you also have to look at people as humans and as people across the sea. Just like, outside of work, I've got 6 kids. I've got a lot. People talk about it. And it is a lot. But at the same time, yeah, I have my own personal conversations with them. We have our own personal experiences. We're all human beings. We're not just robots or numbers on a spreadsheet. And so I think that's really important. So the big thing that I always say too is, before you can lead anybody else, you have to lead yourself. So that's where it starts, not with the title, with you. And that's so valuable. Even before I became a leader, I always thought, I want to be a leader. I want to be a leader. But then I quickly realized, someone taught me, "Steven, it's not about you getting the title. It's about you being who you are now. If you want to lead, be the leader now." It's almost, you have to do the job before you get it. And it is so true for any aspiring leader out there, for anyone who thinks, "Hey, only if I was the manager, things would be different." The answer is, actually, you can make a difference today, and it starts today. It starts with you, and it starts from within. So it's one of those things that's extremely valuable and important. And so one of the big things too is, I'm going to, throughout this new season and these new episodes that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to kind of walk through a lot of the things that I talk about, not as in depth as my trainings that I've started to record, but really it's a relaunch of kind of what I wanted to build months and months ago, last year, but it really has taken shape into what I thought it could become. So one of the things that I'll talk about that is, I've got a new brand. I've got a lot of different things. I'm able to do different things now But really, it stemmed from, I look back at the dots of all the different companies that I've been at, my career progression, just everything. And my inner voice just kept telling me, Stephen, speak up. Speak up. There is something that you need to help people with. And oftentimes in big companies, like I'll mention one company at Zillow. When I was a first-time manager, they had trainings, okay? But big, awesome companies like that are, I think, on the Fortune 100 of like the best companies to work for, Zillow's always been towards the top. And I started asking myself why, and it's because they really taught leaders how to lead, but they also gave you the tools to do it. So one of the big things is out in the marketplace, there's not really a lot out there for the first-time manager, for the aspiring leader, for the manager that maybe is in a smaller company that's managed a while, or a senior manager or a director, or maybe it's even a CEO that really hasn't received the proper knowledge around these aspects. And so I'm really looking at these individuals and thinking, what can I do to help them? So obviously this podcast, I really want to build managers to be better leaders, that we all want them to be. Because guess what? And this is the most important thing. The title changes, the person doesn't. We have to lead deeper, we have to lead people, and we have to lead well. And always remember, it starts from within. That's the big thing. It is. It's not something that's outward. It starts with you today. You can make the decision today. And like my dad always said, PATC, whenever you do anything, PATC, do it with a positive attitude. Put that in your thoughts and then do it with confidence. And again, remember, I'm going to say it one more time. The title changes, the person doesn't. We need to lead deeper, lead people, lead well. And remember, it starts from within. So guess what? I'll see you next time. I appreciate you for listening. Share this with your friends, and let's do this.